Right. So first off, JoAnn, do you want to just give this? I don't remember if I did this on the last episode, but if you want to give an introduction of yourself so everyone actually knows who you are rather than just getting that in the show notes and on the blog.
All right. Yeah. So, hi, I'm JoAnn Stoneberg with As the Planets Turn. I'm a professional astrologer and evolutionary astrologer where I look at, where things are in a soul perspective and also looking at the business side of things, the soul of your business as well. And I also teach classes, and I do have classes starting again on October 10th. Well, it's a continuation actually. So if you do have a working knowledge of the planets, signs, houses, and the 5 major aspects, you're welcome to join in my classes on October 10th for the 10 weeks, October 10th on Tuesday nights.
Awesome. All right. So now let's dive into what is going on in October for the stars. And I love how you said the soul of the business, because the business truly is like an entity really on its own.
It is exactly. So thank you again for having me here, Maddie. And yeah, October, we got a packed house for October here, like lots happening. So to start off, October 4th, we have Mercury, our planet of communication, going into the social sign of Libra. Now, that energy there on Wednesday, October 4th, is going to possibly soften some things a little bit in your communication. It could be a little challenge emotionally. There may be some disillusion, if you will, around how you're perceiving your significant other or what you're saying, or there may possibly be some misunderstandings with some of the other planets involved when Mercury goes into Libra. But for the most part, it softens our language a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then on let's see here, October 8th, we have our planet Venus, the goddess of Aphrodite, all about our love and again, a social sign. She's also related to Libra. She's going into the sign of Virgo. So here we have Mercury going into Libra and Venus going into Virgo. Now, a little bit of an astrology lesson here. Venus is ruled by Libra and Mercury is ruled by Virgo, and they're going to be in each other's zodiac sign. And in astrology, we call that a mutual reception. When that happens, it's almost like you've traded coats with your best friend, if you will.
Okay.
And so it's like, oh yeah, this feels different. You get to sort of walk in the other person's shoes, if you will. So Venus going into Virgo here is all about possibly being a little hard on yourself. Virgo can bring in a lot of self-criticism. And with Venus, it's like, oh, is my hair okay? Oh, I don't look good enough. I don't have anything to wear. Aphrodite's all about the diva image as well, her self-image, her self-esteem, her values and what she values about things. So there could be a little bit of, you know, insecurity going on with the Venus going into Virgo here a little bit. But for the most part, just trying to get a handle on that for yourself. So in regards to business, the soul of the business here on the business side, Venus is all about our finding the value and our self-worth. And Virgo is the workhorse. I call Virgo the workhorse of the zodiac signs. So Virgo is there working really hard, and there could be lots of opportunity in that time period with Mercury going into Libra and Venus going into Virgo, about getting all your ducks in a row, feeling into the energy a little better, having different opportunities to really make things shine for yourself in a different way, and really relating to your business in as long as you don't have that lack of insecurity going on. So it's finding the confidence and the courage to move forward there too.
Yeah, kind of like that imposter syndrome, like we were talking about before, being careful of like realizing that that might be something that is kind of slipping in at that point in time, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So we want to be careful of that as well. So then on the other, on October 10th, 2 days later, One of the big planets out there, well, he's actually very little, but one of the planets that packs a punch, Pluto here, is going direct. Now, Pluto has been a big player over the last couple of years and into next year. He's been going back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius. And he starts going into, where's my notes? Hang on a second here. Pluto's been going through Capricorn since 2008. And in 2024, at the end of November, Pluto makes its final plunge into Aquarius there. So with Pluto going to direct, the planet of transformation and emotional transformation that he does like to do within ourselves, is this more of this forward motion. So right now we have like 5 of the 8 planets are in retrograde motion. So that's almost like the tides, when the tide goes out, it pulls back the energy. And little bit by little bit, each planet by the end of the year are going to go direct. So it's like, even though there's a few planets going direct already, Mercury's went direct last month, and Pluto's now going direct, and there's still 4 more planets to go direct over the next three months here. And so we're still in this push me, pull you energy. It's like, oh, there's forward motion, but I'm still feeling held back in some way. So it's again, reliving, redoing, researching, analyzing things there. So Pluto going direct on the 10th is a big deal. And like I say, it'll be there until January 21st. It does do another retrograde motion in 2024. But today it's going direct, which is really nice. A little more push forward.
With the stuff going direct, but then still stuff being in retrograde, how would you apply that to like business? Would you say right now is kind of a time to just kind of think on things and like really get clear on that process before diving into something? Or is it like, when would we wait till to kind of go more forward with stuff? I don't know. I guess my question isn't really forming the way that I would like, but do you understand kind of what I'm saying with that?
Yeah. So we're still in like, even though we want to move forward with our business and make things happen and take action with things, there's still this October, November, December, we're still in this planning stage. We're still in the cooking stage. We're still behind the scenes. We're still building. We're still working. We're still prepping. The more work you put into that now, because when all those planets go into their forward motion in the new year, you'll be ready for it. Otherwise, you're still going to be stuck doing the work and everyone else is going to be going forward. So right now is the time to like really nose to the grindstone and get the work done.
Awesome. Okay. So plan and prepare now for like your New Year's launch or whatever it is.
Exactly. So don't fret if you don't feel like things aren't going anywhere, because they will eventually. So just keep moving. Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah. So the next day, helping us to keep moving forward, on October 11th, Mars is going into Scorpio. So Mars is our planet of action, our desires, our get up and go energy, our drive, our determination, our warrior energy. And Scorpio is that deeper, intense, soulful, again, transformative energy. And it is giving us more of a giving us more of that instinctual nature to just go for it, right? So where we may have had a few fears before, it's really stepping into those opportunities that it's giving us, playing with that Venus in Virgo a few days ago, to really step into our sense of self and our stability and our securities, and just overcoming those fears moving forward. But also that Mars in Scorpio gives it that little more of reality, if you will, like really sussing things out, like just really narrowing things down and really making it work for yourself. I call Scorpio the Sherlock Holmes of the zodiac signs, because he's always about like getting right to the chase, right? So that works out good for there.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then the new moon this month in October, we also have 2 eclipses happening. So lots happening this month. The new moon brings us a solar eclipse on October 14th, and that is also in the sign of Libra, because we are in Libra season at the moment. The sun is going through Libra until the 23rd of October. And so that new moon, the solar eclipse, again, giving us that energy of that new moon in Libra, the energy of that social graces, our relationships, how we want to perceive ourselves going forward. Are we being too dependent on others for our business? Are we doing our own work? Are we making commitments that are healthy for us? And on a personal level, but also on a business level. How are we collaborating with others? Libra is all about, is a social sign. So the solar eclipse, solar being the sun, eclipses are these portals. So it's all about letting things go, but it's also about bringing in energy as well. And with the new moon, it's what new energy, new transformation is the eclipse giving us. So it's about receiving, not so much giving out the intention. Yes, we still want an intention, but what is it are we needing to receive to help ourselves move forward with our business and with ourselves?
Okay. And I'll bring this up again, just so everyone knows this is our second go around on the recording because I couldn't get it right the first time. But I loved before when we were chatting what you're talking about the eclipse with how much energy it brings and how that can be a really great time to like receive messages, but also a great time to let go of things too.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was really insightful. Like sometimes we're just holding on to that thing, and that could be a perfect time to release that.
Yeah. And new moons also, just before the new moon happens, it is a good time about releasing. So the solar eclipse is like, what do I need to, clearing the cobwebs, right? What do I need to get rid of? And so you can allow new stuff to come in. So definitely very much so. And then the following weekend, because as we get closer to, well, not closer, about 3 weeks away, get closer more into Scorpio, good English, more into Scorpio season here. We got Mars going into Scorpio already, and now we've got Mercury going into Scorpio on the 21st. So Mercury there, we want to watch our sharp tongues. Mercury is about communication. Scorpio can bring about those blunt conversations. So it's really watching your words, choosing things carefully, think before you speak, and find your fluffy words, right? Channel the Venus for the fluffy words, right? So the Mercury in Scorpio can also bring about, if you're having any contracts to sign, things like that, it's really that investigative energy and that analytical energy to really look at all the details so you know exactly what you're committing to if you're doing that at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, and sorry, Mercury going to Scorpio is happening actually on the 22nd, not the 21st. So, but yeah. And then the 23rd, the sun goes into Scorpio. So then we enter Scorpio season. Scorpio is all about that deep, intense, transformational energy. The sun there shines a lot of things on what we need to be aware of within ourselves, our maybe of our fears, of our vulnerabilities, but also looking at our resourcefulness. How resourceful are we? Scorpio is also about other people's resources, other people's money. Are we feeling? Let's see here. Scorpio words. So it's sometimes hard to talk about Scorpio because nobody wants to hear about Scorpio. Right? So it's like, are we feeling betrayed? Are we feeling powerless? Or are we feeling powerful? Are we feeling manipulated? Are we being corrupted? Are we, what metamorphosis is happening for ourselves, right? Is there paranoia happening, right? So it depends on where you're at in your business and in your life. What is Scorpio bringing to the table for you to deal with? When this stuff comes up, the sun shines a light on that. Think of this big spotlight coming down into the basement. What is that sun spotlight shining on you in your life and in your business that you have to face and deal with, right? And that's where you want to, that's why Scorpio is also about other people's resources as well, and asking for help.
Gotcha. So with that light shining in on your business, you can kind of see like the weak areas and then you can kind of outreach for that kind of stuff. Is that, am I
Yes.
that in right? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like that.
Yeah. And, and we all go through stuff in our businesses and in our lives. And it's like we need other, it's acknowledging and recognizing our own weaknesses and then looking for people whose strength that is and utilizing their strengths to help you maneuver through. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we all need each other, that's for sure, because otherwise we won't get anywhere.
Nope, exactly. So then towards the end of the month, we have a full moon on October 28th, and that is the lunar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse is in the sign of Taurus, the full moon. And with any full moon, there's always this 3 days, about 3 days before the full moon, 3, 4 days before the full moon, you're always feeling this buildup of energy. And it's like, what's going on? This energy ramps up, right? And it's in Taurus. And Taurus is, again, all about our security, our stability. And the eclipse might come along and shake that up a little bit. So it's going to be opposing the sun and Mars and Mercury in Scorpio. Taurus and Scorpio are opposite in the signs. So we might feel like withdrawing. We might feel like just staying stuck where we're at. We might not feel like stepping out. There might be a little bit of push me, pull you going on. There might be some transformational energy going on where, again, that Mercury going into Scorpio is sussing out, how do I need to change how I'm thinking and behaving, Mercury and Mars, how am I thinking and behaving that I need to change so that I can better myself to move forward. So the Taurus full moon in the lunar eclipse, again, letting go of our old habits and behaviors and allowing new habits and behaviors to come in. I know it's hard to change ourselves sometimes, but when you change your attitude, then everything around you changes. Everything stays the same, but then it's also different. So it's looking for our values and our self-worth during that time period.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great. There's I had a conversation on a past podcast where we're actually talking about like, you don't get the things in life that you want, you get the things that you believe. And probably even like the things, the way you perceive it and the way you feel it. And I think that that's really important too, is also even remembering that when there's like the highs and the lows of the stars and where they're at in the sky, is remembering, okay, like I'm going to go through waves, but at the end of the day, what is like my eye on, and like, what can I truly believe and see that I'm going to get to, even though I'm going to struggle a little bit. I know that like there's a light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing.
Exactly. So to sum it up, the beginning of the month here is going to be a little rocky, right? Trying to find our footing. It's like new ground, our conversations with others. Is that really real? Like what's happening, right? We may be a little disillusioned about our perceptions about what's real and what's not real, and having to face our own fears. And then towards the end of the month, it's again, coming back to that, not being so self-critical of self, but understanding your own self-worth and your value and what you bring to the table for others.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love that. So we've all got this. We can all make it through the rough and rocky part. And then at the end, we'll just remember who we are.
Exactly. So it's keep working, keep putting in the hours and the time to build what you're building within your life and in your business. And because I'm going to tell you, in January, February, things are going to open up. And I have to share another analogy that my friend gave me today. It's quite funny. She says, when you have a plugged toilet and you're plunging it and plunging it and plunging it, and you're working really hard to get it, to release, right? And so It's and so that's where we're at right now in October, November, December, right? And we're trying to get the toilet unplugged, right? And then in January, February, it's going to release, right? And you're like, oh, beautiful, right? It's all of a sudden there's this flow of water happening now, right? And so yeah, I guess the little catchphrase there is, let that go.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, that's so funny.
I didn't know if we were supposed to swear on these shows or not.
Yeah,
But
you're welcome to start. It just took my brain. It's like that time of day where I was like, oh, I get it.
yeah, let
Yeah.
that shit go. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, that's great though. I mean, it's always one of the things I love about astrology is, just understanding like some days are better than other days, but at the end of the day, it's always like an upward trend. There's always like, let's get through these months. Maybe it's not a time to like put a new offer out into the world right now. Maybe it's time to just work on things like you said. But um, I'll bring an analogy in too. It's kind of like someone was telling me this the other day where like you'll see a fly and it's just like flying into a window over and over and over to try to get outside, right? But then like it doesn't realize that the door next to the window is open and it could just like fly right outside, but you get so caught in the trap of like trying to force things to work that you don't take the time to kind of slow down and back up and see that like, oh, there's another path to get where I want to go. And I'm not going to be slamming my head against a window to get there.
Exactly. Exactly. And then at the end of the month here, we have Halloween on October 31st. The moon will be in the sign of Gemini, and the sun will be next to, which is called a conjunction, to Mars in Scorpio. So when you see that sun Mars conjunction in Scorpio, that's going to be really intense. That's that energy that can be very explosive and be very sharp. So you want to look both ways before you cross the street, and don't run with scissors, those kinds of things. But also, it's more about just watching your words and watching your thoughts and what you're projecting out onto others.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. And good old Halloween.
Exactly. Good old Halloween. Yes. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, it seems like it's going to be a very energetic month. That's for sure.
definitely. Definitely. And then having a look at next month, little calmer. The next planet going direct is Saturn on November 4th, but we'll talk about more of that when we talk about November.
Perfect. I love it. I would love to ask you too, today that we're filming is September 29th and it is the full moon in Aries. Do you have any like full moon rituals or anything that you'll do to kind of celebrate the full moon in Aries today?
Oh, the full moon in Aries is, again, Aries is that get up and go sign, right? Our
Yeah.
energy, right? And so as we were talking before, it's like, I want to get up and go, but I don't feel like it. It's like there's this like pull back and push forward. So full moon, I usually like to just stand there and honor the full moon, and just feel the energy of it. And it's more the ritual around the new moon, and the full moon as well is a really nice ritual. Is just honoring that energy, honoring that heightened energy of coming to the party of, or whatever the intention was that you set at the new moon, and
Mhm.
to celebrate that. So it's a little bit of a celebration. That's why the energy's so ramped up.
Yeah, so ramped up. I had a routine I was doing. It was a couple of years ago, but every full moon I would go for a full moon hike, like even in the winter, like throughout January and February. And I really loved it. I mean, I want to get back into that because it was really nice. Like there's just so much, like I have a hard time sleeping on the full moon anyways, because I feel like the energy is just crazy and it
Oh
lightens
yeah.
the room and everything. So it was nice to just get outside and take in, life. Like it's really an incredible thing. Maybe that's just my Aries, I'm just like, oh, life, I love it. But yeah, there's just something about the moon that just makes it so incredibly special.
It does. And if I might share it, like I go for a walk first thing in the morning, and this morning, that big full moon's out there. So I got out there real early, and I'm walking along, and here I see a murder of crows, 12 crows in a tree that was dead. And then
Okay.
I look down the street, and there's this big full moon just framed amongst the trees looking down the street. It was just gorgeous. And then I
Oh,
turn the corner, and I'm walking on my path, and there's this great big porcupine,
oh my
Aries
gosh.
energy, so much action happening, right? There's this great big
Yeah.
huge porcupine. And then I come home and turn the corner into my complex, and there's two big hot air balloons uh, going across the sky, across over top of my complex. And I'm like, wow, can't get any better than this. Full moon in Aries, lots happening out there, right? Aries is a fire sign. So
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's the little things in life that make it magic.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But yeah, so thank you again for having me on here, Maddie. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for putting up with me and my flaws and for coming back and delivering this amazing message for everyone. I really appreciate it.
Oh, totally. Totally.